Hi, my name is Jessica, and today I want to share with you an inspirational story, a story about dreams, challenges, and the power of learning English. This story is not just about language. It's about the power of believing in yourself and taking that first step towards something bigger. I grew up in a small, quiet town where the hustle and bustle of big cities seemed like a world away. The people here were friendly and life was peaceful, but as I walked down the streets, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. I was stuck in a routine, and my dreams felt distant, like stars in the night sky. Beautiful, but unreachable. Everyone around me had their own version of success, but it wasn't the life I imagined for myself. I wanted more. I wanted to travel, to meet people from different cultures, to experience the world beyond the borders of my small town. One afternoon, while strolling through social media, I saw a post that caught my attention. It was about a woman who had gone from not speaking a word of English to becoming a successful entrepreneur and traveling the world. I read her story, and I couldn't help but feel a spark of hope inside me. How did she do it? How could someone like her, from a small town just like mine, change her entire life by learning English? It became clear, learning English was the key. But then came the doubts. I thought about all the things that could go wrong. What if I made a mistake? What if I sounded silly? What if no one understood me? These fears held me back at first. The idea of learning a new language seemed overwhelming. I didn't know where to start, and I didn't feel confident enough to speak English in front of others. But I also knew that if I didn't take that first step, I would never know what could be possible. That's when I decided to start. I didn't wait for the perfect time. I didn't wait for some magical moment. I just began. I started watching English movies with subtitles, reading books in English, and listening to English songs. At first, I barely understood anything. The words felt like jumbled puzzles, and I struggled to put them together. But I didn't let that stop me. I told myself, this is just the beginning. I reminded myself that even the greatest achievers started somewhere. As weeks turned into months, I kept pushing myself. But learning English wasn't as easy as I had imagined. The more I practiced, the more I realized how much there was to learn. The words didn't just come naturally. Sometimes, they seemed to slip away from me at the worst times. I'd be in the middle of a conversation and forget the simplest word. Other times, I would mix up tenses or use the wrong word entirely, and I could feel my face turning red with embarrassment. I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up and go back to the comfort of my native language. But I remembered something. The story of the woman who didn't give up. She kept going, even when things were hard. I pushed myself every single day. I watched more English movies. I listened to podcasts. I read articles and tried to translate them. I started small, ordering food in English at a restaurant, greeting strangers in English, and trying to hold basic conversations. At first, my conversations were awkward. I stumbled over my words and could feel the eyes of the people I was speaking to, wondering if I was making sense. But every mistake became a lesson. Every misstep made me stronger. One day, I decided to speak to a friend of mine who was fluent in English. It was terrifying. I was nervous. I almost backed out. But I pushed myself to do it anyway. "Hi, my name is Jessica. How are you today?" I asked, trying to sound confident. She smiled and responded, "I'm good, Jessica. How about you?" My heart was racing, but in that moment, something clicked. That short, simple conversation was a huge victory. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. I had spoken English, and for the first time, I believed that I could do it. Over the next few months, I continued to practice. The more I spoke, the less afraid I became. I made more mistakes, but I didn't let them stop me. I knew that every mistake was a stepping stone toward fluency. I kept pushing myself, and slowly, I started to see progress. The language that once seemed foreign now felt like a part of me. I wasn't just learning English. I was building confidence in myself. A year later, my life had changed in ways I never imagined. I was no longer just Jessica from a small town. I had become someone who could confidently walk through the world, connect with people from different cultures, and open doors I never thought possible. Learning English had opened up opportunities I had never considered before. With my English skills improving, I started applying for jobs that required the language. One day, I received an interview invitation from an international travel agency. I was excited but terrified. This was my chance, and I didn't want to blow it. I spent days practicing for the interview, going over common questions, and practicing my speaking. On the day of the interview, I walked in, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. As we began speaking, I realized something incredible. I wasn't nervous anymore. The words were coming out more naturally, and I could express myself with ease. By the end of the interview, I felt proud of how far I had come. A week later, I received the news I'd been waiting for. I got the job. This job was more than just an opportunity. It was a symbol of everything I'd worked for. I had overcome my doubts, fears, and the obstacles that once held me back. With the confidence I gained through learning English, I started traveling abroad for business. Each new city, every new experience, felt like a dream come true. The most memorable moment was when I found myself in London, standing in the middle of a busy street, overwhelmed by the beauty and energy of the city. I realized that learning English had made all this possible. I wasn't just a tourist anymore. I was actively participating in the world. English also opened the door to new friendships. One evening, I had dinner with a colleague from Italy. We both made mistakes, but instead of feeling embarrassed, we laughed and corrected each other. It wasn't about perfection. It was about connecting with others. Looking back, learning English wasn't just about the language. It was about gaining the confidence to follow my dreams and step into a bigger world. It allowed me to travel, work, and meet amazing people. And now, when I think of who I was a year ago, I realize that the person I am today is someone who isn't afraid to dream big. If I can do it, so can you. Your dreams are waiting for you. Take that first step. Start learning English today, and you'll be amazed at how far it can take you.